right, welcome back to the Black Eyes on the Golden Guy. I'm Kalani Kachela, and I'm here with
Tamara Kachela.
and we're here to talk about the last episode of The Golden Bachelor. Our thoughts on that to kind of bring you up to speed. We missed last week, so we're going to do two in a row. Week before, just a continuation or prequel to the one we saw on Thursday, because Gerry had the three final contestants, couldn't choose one. So that made, and we know that they also had the women tell all, and they came out and they all professed how much they loved Gerry and how much he made their lives feel like they were lovable again. And that they could, some of them profess that they're ready to kind of get started now. It was a cliffhanger on the episode before last, and Gerry was bowled over, crying, and saying he couldn't make a decision. He was still kind of bowled over, saying he couldn't make a decision. And the guy said, "What are you gonna do?" He said, "I know what I'm gonna do." So he gets in there and he gives the rose to Theresa.
Yeah,
So Faith the boot,
I know one thing I can say about Gary is if this
Gerry.
Jerry, if this is an act, the show is not real. Somebody needs to give him a contract because he can cry on a dime. So it must really be his feelings must really be true. I mean, because the tears are just rolling. I mean, when you look at him, he's really crying. So,
Yeah, he is. He's an emotional dude. Very sensitive, it seems. Previous episodes revealed that he could be a little bit normal, like most folks. He listens and he reflects back what he
hmm
hears, and he shows her his feelings, and
hmm
seems to
hmm
be in touch with the women. They
hmm
seem to be feeling like they really fallen in love with the guy.
hmm
So the fact that he had to choose between Faith and Theresa, it did seem like it was hard for him. But anyway, he did it. He chose Theresa. That was a hard choice for him. He did it. And Faith thought that she was going to be the one. She wasn't. At the end, they brought her back and she talked about how she felt about him. So what do you think about his choice of Theresa over
and
Faith?
all of those women that were there, I can't see how Teresa stood out so for him. I just don't understand. There were just so many other choices that he could have chosen, which would have been better. And to think that she's made it this far. I just don't really think she's genuine. I think she's going to turn out to be this monster or something. Forgive me, Teresa, for later on, but she's probably a lovely person. But I just don't see he could let either one of those, Faith or Leslie. Let's say we just go on those two. I mean, I could see her as being the one out, and then Leslie and Faith are the two that he has to choose from.
But he doesn't. He has Leslie and Teresa.
I know. I don't think Teresa should be in this. I think
But
she
she
should be
is, though.
gone.
But
Yeah,
she's
but she is.
she,
You're right.
she's there, so you can't argue for Teresa Faith anymore because she's gone. Unless he
No,
gets a phone number and decides, hey, I made a mistake. I don't want Leslie or Teresa. I'm gonna
I
call up
want
Faith.
you. Yeah. Well, to me, it
Suppose he did
sounded.
that. What do you think she would say if he did call her and say, "Hey, I made a big mistake."
I think, they were all just so over the heels for him, whatever you want to call it. So,
Head over heels.
yeah, I think that she would, that she might.
She'd say yes.
Because, when she came back to talk to him, that that I had to tell you this and whatever. And so they really seemed that they were really into each other.
Okay.
Once again, or
Okay.
if they're acting, somebody needs to give them a contract.
Well, it's supposed to be reality. It's supposed to be real.
Supposed to be. Yeah, but
Let's just take it at face value that it's real.
okay.
No, it's probably staged at some point,
To,
but they probably have coaches to tell them how to act. Still supposed to be on the core. He's making choices that are reflect his real feelings.
Right, right. Yeah. But it just seems like in other shows when you can tell that this staged. You can see it. But they're just so emotionally involved
Hmm.
in this. Even all of the women.
Yeah. Well, one thing I think it's hard to date when you're over a certain age. I would say probably over 40. It's really hard to date when you get to 50, 60, and 70, like these couples are. Like Gerry is 72. It's got
hmm
to be extremely difficult. It's not that many matches out there. It's not that many people out there. I mean, it's not that many out there when you're in your 40s and 50s that you feel that you have a real chance of connecting with and
hmm
that you see at least eye to eye, or you have some interest together and you have the right chemistry and have the right level of education or socioeconomic status that you're looking for, or physical abilities, physical attraction. So when you get down to the 70s, it's really hard, really tough decisions to make.
Right, right. Well, one of the things that they kept saying over and over again was that you're never too old, and just get out there and do it. I mean, the way I see it, they both have their pensions. They're both, careers are over with. I mean, that's when life starts. Yeah,
Life stars.
yeah, you have a little money, you can travel to worry
Okay.
about being on, you just find somebody with that type of interest.
Yeah,
You
I think
know.
it's hard though. That's why I think they had 26 women at the beginning. It got down to two now. Those women were all over the country. To me, that means that they probably were folks that were trying to get in. I bet you can find 26 women in Indiana, where Gerry is, right? You can probably find 26 women. We live in San Jose. I
Mhm.
could find 26 women in San Jose that I could date if I were single, or men. You
Mhm.
think you could find 26 men?
No, I don't know. I guess not.
Okay, I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, because so many people at that age are kind of locked into their mindset. They're locked into the ways of how they're gonna act. Like some of my friends we know who are single in their
Mhm.
60s.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know how they are. I
Mhm.
mean, we love them to death. They'd be hard to date,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
They'd be
Mhm.
very
We
hard to
all,
date.
yeah, we all would be. Anybody at this age, you haven't made up in your mind like these ladies did that I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to make this happen, or at least I'm
Hmm.
going to do it. So now they're not afraid.
I think that might be the best thing that come out of for the ones that didn't get selected is that they realize that find somebody that
Mhm.
the hope is still alive.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
imagine before they probably all been struggling trying to find dates and they
Mhm.
thought they wrote themselves off as never going to happen again. And
Mhm.
then Gerry gave them this hope that perhaps there's a guy out there like the other people like Gerry who are suitable mates that could be nice and sensitive and kind and
Yeah.
be gentlemanly, or as one woman said, a gentleman.
Yes, a gentleman.
Let me
Yes.
ask you this: what do you think would happen? It was a black Golden Bachelor. What kind of women would you think would be there on this show? How would it be different for you? If you compare it to say something like Ready to Love, where they're in their 40s, if you skip from 40 to 60 or 40 to 70
Mhm.
on the Golden Bachelor, there's a black. How do you think it would be?
That would be interesting. I think that would be because you would have all these different personalities. They're going to bring their friends and their family, and all of these people are coming in to talk and to see whether or not this person is a good mate for them. That somebody should get on top of that.
That's sure. I think when we look at Ready to Love, for example, latest rendition of it is called "Make Your Move," and the women are basically. I think we both have talked about this. They're really undateable,
Mm,
right?
mm,
They're kind of over the top, and a couple of them are really narcissists.
mhm.
One has been caught in a couple lies already, right? And
Right,
still denies this,
right,
as if it didn't happen.
right.
And then you have all this strange makeup
Hmm.
that you don't see on Golden Bachelor. Like they have all these lashes and they have these 2-inch nails.
Right.
It's all kind of superficial stuff, but does it get to the core of who the person is and how dateable they are?
Well, it's based on the man, I guess, too. Whether or not some men they might like that.
Mm-hmm.
Transparency. That's who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, the way that the person dressed is basically a reflection on who they are. If you
Mm-hmm.
look at them hard enough, then you'll be able to figure out some things.
One thing I did notice, though, I read about this was that on the Golden Bachelor, the women had to buy their own clothes, whereas on
Yes,
Ready to Love,
if somebody buys them.
somebody buys it for them
Yes,
because they're
because they
dressing,
all kind of the same kind of thing.
they're colorful. Sometimes they
Yeah.
look a little on the hoochie side.
Uh-huh. Not fitting properly,
Hmm.
and
Hmm. And one thing that you see on those shows versus the Golden Bachelor is the guys do reveal their true views on the man woman or the male female relationship. So, like this last episode, the guy said he would mind having a woman who was businesslike, but she had to leave it at the door.
Yes.
Whereas on this show, how Gerry feels about a woman who may still be making money. But in this case, we know that Theresa is still earning money because she's a stock market investor.
Hmm.
That's her job. Whereas Leslie, I can't remember what she does. I'm thinking that Gerry is attracted to somebody who has money.
And you keep saying that. I don't think so because I think that he had his own money because he was
Because a restaurateur. They had
yes. And
restaurants.
his wife, when she passed away, she had a big salary.
Did she?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
He's okay.
All right. Well, maybe he doesn't. I'm just thinking the money makes him feel more secure because he says that he's looking for the picture of security. And I think that
Okay, that's why you
someone,
say that.
yeah,
Mm.
someone who has their own income, their own assets
Hmm.
to be melded together would be more of a picture of security. That's just
Mhm.
my sense of it. I could be
Mhm.
totally wrong. Because
Mhm.
these other two women, like Faith and Sandra and Ellen, they were much more attractive, we
Right.
thought, than from a male perspective, Theresa.
Well, maybe you know what? That might make me feel a little bit better about his selection because I didn't think that she was one of the prettiest ones there. Some other women had greater personalities than her. So
Mm.
I was trying to figure out what was going on. So maybe that is it.
All right, well, we're down to the last two is Leslie and Theresa. And I
Yes.
guess next week they're supposed to have what they call the fantasy suites, where he spends a night with each of the women,
Mm.
and they going behind closed doors. We don't know what's going to happen.
Oh,
Are they going to, knock some boots? Gerry talked about some pillow talk. So it'd be interesting to hear. I'm not sure they even reveal that type of thing. Those details will have behind closed doors. They definitely don't have any cameras in there.
right.
But it's up to your imagination of what goes on behind closed doors. I believe this would be the last episode before Gerry makes his decision.
You know, that part of that, I feel they could just leave that part out. Why is that necessary that we know that they have a fantasy night or whatever that is? Even on Ready to Love, you get the idea, they plant that idea that maybe they were together.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want my children or my grandkids or anybody to see that part. Why is that important?
Well, I guess you got to figure out if they have any sexual chemistry beyond the superficial stuff you see them kissing and hugging and professing their.
Why do we have to know that?
I
See
don't
what I
know.
mean?
Well,
To
I didn't
me,
produce the
that's
show.
something after the show is off. And then you get together and you decide. Anyway.
That's gonna happen. We know it's gonna. We don't have to. We can't debate the merits of what's gonna happen, why they do it, but that's part of the routine. So let's just go with it. So, do you have any predictions on who might be the final choice?
I'm just praying that it's Leslie. Leslie, if you're looking, I'm pulling for you, girl. Because I don't want Theresa. No. But not that you're not a good choice.
Okay, well, listen, that's our take on this last episode, and gave you the black guy on the golden guy, and we gave you a little twist on how we might perceive if it were African American version of it, and maybe down the road there will be, but we
Right.
don't know.
Might be.
Might be. All right, so until next time, we'll be tuning in like you all do, and we'll see you on the next wrap up of the Golden Bachelor. So we're out of here from the Bachelor Nation.
And how about those Cowboys?
It's not about football.
Sorry.